Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with certified financial fiduciary Tim Wood.
Let's sit down and make an actual plan, and we have definitely got to factor in that retirement danger zone. I wish to God someone had sat down and done that with my dad. We wish we would have known about these things.
Tim is a retirement and income planning expert, best-selling author, and the founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim focuses on wealth management, retirement income, tax and long-term care planning, and so much more.
Today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow you want. You've got an 87% chance of success. Well, son, that's a 13% chance of failure.
And now, the Safe Money Retirement Show with Tim Wood.
And we thank you so much for joining us on another edition of the Safe Money Retirement Show. Alongside Tim Wood, he's the founder, president, and certified financial fiduciary with Safe Money Retirement. My name is Kevin McAlpin. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We hope you're staying warm during these cold winter weeks, and we thank you for being a part of the show once again. Coming up on today's show, we know that estate planning often can feel quite overwhelming. So Tim's going to give you some of the most crucial documents you need to have in place for your future. Plus, if you're looking to retire comfortably, we're going to give you some boxes you need to check before you enter that stage of life. We'll get to that and much, much more. But first things first, we say hello to the star of the show, the man of the hour. And I can feel free and clear saying this, the most handsome man in the room, Mr. Tim Wood. Tim, great to be with you as always, sir.
Great to be with you, but I'm the most handsome by default because I'm not wearing a Bulldogs hat.
So you went there, didn't you?
I did. You're wearing one, dude. I had to go there. I mean, come on.
It's okay.
No, I'm a Bulldogs fan.
Kevin is now sending you a
No, that's all right. I'd wear it. I'm going
to send you a hoodie and a hat and all of the above.
I am a fan of every team except that team from Florida that we won't even say their name, Lizards.
Yeah.
We're not even going to say them. So
the Geckos,
we're not
right?
Going there.
Yeah, the
yes,
Geckos. Yeah.
I like that. The Geckos, yes. Anybody but them, I'm really kind of almost okay with.
And of course, folks are listening. They're going, wait, well, who is that joining us on the show? A special guest once again. It was such a hit last week, Tim. We decided to bring back your lovely bride, Melissa, as well. And what I really appreciate about doing this show with you every single week is I can't screw up your wife's name as much as I try because it's my wife's name as well. So this is super easy. I'm really appreciate you making. It's like we planned this many years ago.
We did. It's in the stars, Kevin. It was in the stars.
Well, let's dive right into it, guys, because we do have a lot to get to on the show here today. And I know one thing that we have spent a lot of time talking about in shows in the past is the importance of having a will and, of course, other legal documents once you get into retirement. But I found this really interesting stat from Gallup, and it said that, listen to this, 94% of pet owners have made provisions for their pets in the event of their death. However, only 40% have made those same provisions for their children. Does that number surprise you at all, Tim? You've been doing this a long time.
Yes and no. Man, when people get older and they have dogs and cats or I've got a friend that's got a pig that's in the house. I mean,
another
friend that had a squirrel. Was it a squirrel or what was she? Some other weird animal.
An opossum or something weird.
People are... Man, I swear to God, when they get older, sometimes they get more attached, it seems like, to those animals. So, yeah, it surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me at the same time.
Right.
The number of ladies that carry their dogs around in stores that they should not be carrying their dogs around in.
Yeah.
But the reason I wanted to bring that up, guys, is obviously for a lot of our listeners, having a will is important, but there's a lot of other documents that are certainly crucial when it comes to, moving into the retirement stage. So, Tim, if you could rattle off some of these ones and really why they are so important for our listeners out there. Again, a lot of these are often overlooked.
Well, the one that I'm going to start with that is absolutely, if someone is listening and does not have this document done, they need to go do it today, and that's a durable power of attorney. Mm-hmm. My father passed recently. I had to be the power of attorney for him in several situations because my mom was falling apart and couldn't. So you need to have someone that can be your advocate, that's going to be, when something happens to you physically, mentally, whatever, you need to have that power of attorney document in place so that someone can make those decisions for you and make sure it's someone that you trust. Mm-hmm. It could be your child. It could be your pastor. It could be an attorney. It could be a friend. It can be whoever you want. But make sure someone is in place to make those decisions for you. Otherwise, it could be the doctors.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. And then also the healthcare proxy, which is actually the technical name is designation of healthcare surrogate. But it's the healthcare proxy, who's, again, kind of the same idea. Who's going to make sure everything goes the way it should? Who do you want that to be? And then there's some other things, your living will, your living trust, last will and testament, all those normal things that people think about. One thing people don't really think about that's huge these days is all of your digital assets. Someone needs to have access to your Facebook, to your Pinterest, to your everything. Because when you're gone, you don't want someone getting on there and spoofing as you, and now you're gone, but someone is pretending to be you and doing all kinds of stuff. You need to have someone that can get on and wipe everything. Make sure everything is off so, if something does pop back up, everybody knows that's, fraud because he's gone and everything's been wiped off. So, and that's really can be a really big thing. But of course, all the normal stuff. So the two big things, all the normal stuff everyone thinks about, but the durable power of attorney. If no one has that, you need to get that today. And that's something that's very simple. You could just go online and find, and you can download it and fill it out yourself and have, a notary public sign it or whatever it is in your state. Every state's going to be different. Do what you need to do, but you need to have that durable power of attorney in place with somebody today because something could happen this afternoon. So that, and then your digital assets. Make sure someone's got your logins for basically everything. So if something happens to you mentally or physically, it can be all that stuff can be shut down immediately. So someone's not, frauding you and your family out of money or prestige or whatever it is based on who it is.
And it's, something simple as just the passcode on your phone.
Yeah.
People don't think about those things.
Right.
Which is why, like Tim said, you have to plan for everything because in the moment, like I said, you're not going to think about those simple things.
No doubt.
One other thing that just came to me also, right after my father passed, literally within hours, the state called my mom and asked if she wanted to donate parts of his body for, as you can imagine,
like
at that
organ
moment.
donation.
Yeah. So that's another question. Hey, mom, hey, dad, what do you want to happen to your body when you're gone? I know we don't want to think about it. I know it's morbid. I know even thinking about it's awful. But guess what? Death and taxes. Neither one of them's going anywhere. So what do you want to happen? Do you want your body to not be touched? Or are you fine donating, if your eyes are still good, donating your eyes so someone can see? Or donating your heart so someone can live? And you need to have those conversations, have those hard conversations, and write it down somewhere and put it somewhere where you know where it is. We've got a wicker basket, and I know right where it is. That's where all that stuff is. So if something happens, we go to the wicker basket. We all know where it is, and everything is in there and laid out, and this is.
And it's not locked up
No.
because I'm not going to know where the key is.
Right.
Lots of things you got to think about. And obviously a lot of documents, especially when you get into retirement. And if you'd like to learn more about how to start putting some of those documents together or what exactly you need as you enter retirement, don't walk that path alone. Tim Wood and the team at Safe Money Retirement, they are here to help. And if you're looking for more details, you want to get on Tim's calendar, 800-913-SAFE. That's 800-913-7233. Or, of course, you can always visit Tim and his team online, safemoneyretirement.com. That's safemoneyretirement.com.
It's now time for our Safe Money Story of the Week. Visit safemoneystories.com to view more.
For this week's Safe Money Story of the Week, I actually want to talk about a couple that came in. It's been a few months ago now. They are from a smaller town outside of Johnson City, Tennessee, where I am. They're from one of the smaller areas, and they both had worked in a factory for over 30 years. And they had been contributing to their 401k plan that this factory had, but they didn't have any clue about anything else. These were just good, salt of the earth folk that just went to work and went to church and did the right thing, great people. But they didn't know anything about power of attorneys and wills. And, I know we've got money in this 401k. I don't even know what that means. Tell me what that means. So sitting down with someone that understands all of these pieces to retirement It's not just one thing. I mean, you hear Kevin and I talk about this all the time, but it's not just the income piece. Is that important? You better believe it is. It's not just the what do you want to pass on to your kids when you're gone piece. Is that important? You better believe it is. It's the power of attorney piece. It's the will. It's the, if you need one, trust or estate plan or, medical proxy, as Melissa was talking about. All of these things are super important. And this couple came in and they literally didn't have a clue about any of it. So we went literally step by step. Okay, first, let's look at this 401k. They both had one. And what's your age? And what can we do? And how can we do it? And what do we want to do? They needed guaranteed income. That's what they needed because they were going to get Social Security. They worked a lot of hours, but neither one of them had ever made really a whole lot of money. So their Social Security, which Social Security for y'all that are listening, that's based on your top 35 earning years. That's what Social Security is based on. So, they never really made a whole heck of a lot. And they, put as much as they could into the 401, which wasn't a whole lot. But you compound that over 30 years, and guess what? It becomes a lot. So, to them, they had quite a bit. So what we looked at was, here's your expenses, and we probably want to keep your income pretty doggone close to where it was when you were working, when you retire, if we can. My book talks about that, which if y'all don't have a copy of my book, make sure that you reach out. We'll send you a free copy. I literally just got another 200 in the office 2 days ago. So we got plenty of them. Give us a call. We'll be happy to give you a copy of the book. Kevin will tell you how to get one in just a second. In the book, it talks about people, the old theory was, well, I only need about 60% of what I made when I retired that I was making when I was working. Not true. Because when you're working, when is it? Kevin, let me ask you, you're a working man. When do you get a chance to go play golf? What day of the week?
Well, I would say Saturday or Sunday, but then I'm not really allowed to.
Well, if you could.
In theory, then probably a Saturday or Sunday.
Right. And that with most people working, all of that stuff, getting your hair cut, we got to go on Saturday, doing all that stuff. But when you're retired, every day is Saturday. Mm-hmm. You need to think about that. It can be just some random Tuesday and your buddy call you up at 7:30 at night and say, hey, let's go hit some balls tomorrow morning. Okay, well, there's another $50 gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, you really need between 90 and 100% of what you're earning right now in retirement in order to maintain the level of living that you've got now. And then we also need to look at the potential of getting something further. And that's what we did with them. So that's where I'm finishing this up. What we did with them is they needed an income plan immediately when they retired. So with both of their socials and this income plan, that got them there. But then their concern was, well, what happens if a gallon of milk is $10 10 years from now? What am I going to do when I need more money? So what we did in my book, again, I talk about ladder plans. We did several of the smaller ladder plans that just continue to roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up. If you don't ever use it, congratulations, someone just got a nice chunk of money when you pass. If you do use it, then that gives you another piece of income that you can turn on at some point in the future. It's an indefinite point, so it could be 5 years, it could be 25 years, but it gives you more money you can turn on in the future when you need it. That's how we set it up for them. They both left extremely happy, knowing, and they left with a list of things to do. They needed to get the durable power of attorney. They literally had a literal list that we put together, but they walked out confident, knowing what they needed to do and knowing that they could then make a real plan for their retirement.
If you'd like to learn more, maybe you're in a similar situation. And obviously, when it comes to retirement, you only get one opportunity, right? You don't get a do-over when it comes to planning for your retirement. That's why Tim Wood and the team at Safe Money Retirement, they are here to help. He mentioned the book just moments ago. And folks, here's what we're going to do. If you'd like a complimentary copy of Tim's book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, all you need to do is pick up the phone, schedule that initial complimentary no obligation consultation, 800-913-SAFE. Again, it's 800-913-7233, or you can always visit Tim and his team online, safemoneyretirement.com. But again, our first 5 callers, you schedule that complimentary conversation. You're also taking home a copy of his book. It's called Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success. All right, we'll give you a couple of minutes to make that call. Get on Tim's calendar, and we'll continue with much more of this week's edition of the Safe Money Retirement Show right after this.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck. Do you still have all of your retirement money at risk in the market? Most know that I don't do that. It's way too dangerous, in my opinion, at least. The fact the market could fall off a cliff tomorrow, yet many don't have an expert you can trust. Let me tell you about Tim Wood. Now, he's the owner of Safe Money Retirement. That's a certified financial fiduciary and a best-selling author. I met Tim personally, and I can tell you that he and his team can help you plan your own guaranteed lifetime income streams to cover you and your spouse and grow your money while protecting it from a market crash. Go to safemoneyretirement.com/Beck or call 800-913-SAFE to schedule a no-obligation free 15-minute discovery call with Tim. You know I just don't trust anyone, and so do your own homework with Tim at safemoneyretirement.com/Beck and book your free discovery call with Tim online or call 800-913-SAFE and get started today.
It is the Safe Money Retirement Show. We are glad to have you with us once again here this week with Tim Wood. He is the founder, president, and of course, certified financial fiduciary with Safe Money Retirement. My name's Kevin McAlpin. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And of course, Tim and I thank you so much for spending part of it with us here on the show. Remember, we're with you same time, same station each and every week. And of course, if you'd like to learn more, you can always visit safemoneyretirement.com. Again, that website is safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, let me ask you, when it comes to, I want to take you in like the way back machine, because this really, I love this story. It's a funny soundbite. We'll get to that in a minute. But snow days, man, when we were kids, I know they were few and far between, but man, was there anything better than those two words, snow day? I see Melissa shaking her head right now.
There was nothing better than getting that call from my dad, because he'd be listening to the radio at work early, and he would call and say, go back to bed. All right.
I wouldn't know about that. I grew up in Florida. We had hurricane days. It was just different.
That's right. The reason I bring that up, we talk about how things have changed over the years. Well, again, finding out you have a day off of school, it's a snow day, that has certainly evolved. And it's something that comedian Anthony Robustiano can certainly relate to. Take a listen to this, guys.
Anybody remember the struggling process to figure out whether you had a snow day or not? Because what I just found out is the schools nowadays just send a text message. Done deal, school's closed. What did we do? I'll tell you what we did. We still got up. We got ready because you didn't know if you were going to get a 2-hour delay. A delay doesn't matter. You went down the stairs, you poured yourself a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and you just watched the news. You watched the bottom like it was ESPN, the scores. Just throw on the J's. Throw on the J's. By the way, this was the only time all of us just forgot how the alphabet worked. We're M. They're on L's. Is that after L? Is it LMNOP?
Yeah, snow day. You had to figure out when your school was going to get called. But the reason I bring it up, no homework, no school. You could stay in your PJs. You could play all day with your friends. Everything you need was taken care of. But as we know, that is not the case when it comes to retirement. Now, it might feel like a snow day. The problem is the bills keep coming and they do not stop. So, Tim, talk to our listeners about how you can replace a paycheck so it doesn't feel like you're maybe skipping school, if you will, once you get into that retirement phase of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, as y'all have all heard me say over and over and over, having a guaranteed income in retirement is the most important thing. Income is what brings happiness in retirement. Assets actually bring stress, because if you've got all your money still in asset-based accounts, you're stressed every day because the market is going to go down at some point.
Right.
And you're going to have a week where you lose 10%. Okay, well, that's a lot of money. No matter how much you got in there, that's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be down. And then when you factor in the market math, that if you lose 30% in an account, you've got to have 42 to 43% gain just to get back to where you were. I mean, when you factor all of that in, it can really be an issue. What you need to do is you need to know that you've got enough income to cover your expenses. It's what I call a floor. Mm-hmm. Everyone needs that floor so you know that your expenses are going to be covered no matter what. It also makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to spend that when you know another one's coming next month. Mm-hmm. Because if you're just pulling from an account, you are going to literally scrimp by and you're going to underlive your retirement. Mm-hmm. If you have a guaranteed income plan, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. If you're just pulling from a pot of money, you better hope you don't live to 120.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the issue with a lot of these financial advisors and their Monte Carlo simulations. They'll come back and say, oh, well, you've got a 96% chance of success. All right, well, that sounds pretty good. If you were playing Russian roulette, would you take those odds? Would you take a 4% chance of, well, because that's what you're doing.
It feels pretty high to me still, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. In my opinion, anything less than 100% is not acceptable.
Right.
So all we're looking at are guaranteed product. That's how you can replace that income. Essentially, it's kind of like, I call them personal pensions, because what you're doing is you are replacing a chunk of money with something that's going to pay you and potentially your spouse, depending on how we set it up, a guaranteed lifetime income you can't outlive. There's no way to outlive it. As long as you're breathing, it's paying. That's how you can replace that paycheck and know that you're going to have enough. And then, like I mentioned earlier, then the next step that we do is we actually get you set up to where some inflation buster plans. So if you need more income in the future, you've got the ability to turn on more and have more income, but that income is guaranteed. It's not if-come. Y'all have heard me use that term. And in my book, I talk about if-come a lot. You want guaranteed income, not if-come, that, you know, if the market stays okay and if I don't outlive it and if and if and if. Don't live an if kind of retirement. Let's live a guaranteed type of retirement. And the way that we replace that is with guaranteed products from top rated companies that aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, when you were young and you knew for sure there was going to be a snow day and you could sleep because you knew you didn't have to get up at 7:30. If you have a guaranteed income, you're going to sleep better.
Yeah.
If you've got the plan in place, you're going to sleep better. You're going to rest a little, whether it's 56 or whether it's 76. If you knew that that money was there and it was going to cover all your expenses 100%, you're obviously going to sleep better.
Yeah.
Just like when you're a kid and you knew you were getting a snow day.
Yeah. No doubt about it. We know snow day is a magic word, or magic words, I guess I should say, for kids. But Tim, again, you sit down with folks every single day. You help them plan for retirement. I know there's probably 3 words that feel like magic to you when you tell somebody you can retire. I know you talked in shows in the past. You've got tissues in every office there, in every room, in every office. But what is that like from your vantage point to go, you know what? You walked into this office and thought, there's no way I'm going to retire. Well, guess what? Here it is. It's on paper. You can do it. How gratifying is a feeling, for you? You talk about sleeping better. I'm sure that's something that you think about quite often when you put your head on that pillow at night.
Absolutely. Another story just came to mind that maybe, for next week's Safe Money Story of the Week. I had a client that came in recently that happened.
Wow.
He thought he was going to have to work. Let me think. He was 66 now, and he thought he was going to have to work till 70. Well, he had a lot of money saved. I mean, he didn't think 7 figures was a lot of money, and it was, obviously. So when we sat down, I'm like, you could retire today and make more than you were making when you were working. He's like, are you serious? Yeah, let me show you. Here's black and white. Here's how it would work. Here's what you get from social. Here's what you get from this. Yeah. So it's fantastic being able to tell someone, and it's also fantastic even if the news is, you know what, Kevin, you need to work 2 more years. But in 2 years, you can circle January 2028. That's when you're retiring because we're making a plan and we know something is going to grow guaranteed for 2 years. And in 2 years, it's going to be this. And then you're going to be this age. And based on you being this age and it growing to this, it's going to pay you this. You put that with your Social Security, you're done.
Yeah.
Being able to sit down and really make a real plan, not an if-come plan, a guaranteed plan that they can count on. It's really gratifying. Yeah.
Well, if you're looking for more details, obviously we know that even if retirement feels like a snow day, I got the news for you. The mailman's going to find a way to get there and drop off those bills. They're not going to stop, even though school might be closed for a day or two. And if you'd like to learn more about creating those streams of income to replace that paycheck once you get to retirement, don't do it alone. That's why Tim Wood and his team at Safe Money Retirement, they're here to help. Pick up the phone. Give him a call today. Get on his calendar, 800-913-SAFE. That's 800-913-7233. That website again, folks, is safemoneyretirement.com. Again, it's safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, before we run out of time on the show here today, I know that this is something that is on a lot of folks' minds listening today. estimations say that it's about 8 million baby boomers are going to turn 65 over the next 2 calendar years. That now leads to the big question, will I be financially prepared for retirement? So, Tim, if someone comes to you with that very same question, is there a checklist? Is there a scorecard? Are there certain things you look for to be able to sort of answer that question that, yes, you can retire comfortably on your own terms?
Yeah, there absolutely is a checklist. And when someone schedules, people have heard me talk about that fact finder appointment. That's the first appointment in my process. When someone schedules a fact finder appointment, my system automatically emails them a link. And in that link, it says, click here to see what to bring to the fact finder appointment. And it literally will give you a list of everything you need to put together. And we're going to look at everything. We're going to look at your retirement plans. We're going to look at your insurance. We're going to look at your expenses. We're going to look at your debts. We're going to look at your assets. We're going to look at everything. Do you have life insurance? Great. Is it term or is it cash value? Do you still need the life insurance, or should we pull the cash value and do something else with it? There's a million different ways that we can go. But we're going to look holistically. We're going to look at the entire plan, A to Z, and see what's going to be best. It could be, something with, there may be a possibility that you could contribute more. Some people don't know that over the age 50, people can contribute more to an IRA plan than they could before 50. So that may be something right there that you can do a little bit of a catch-up contribution. Have you been maximizing what you can do in your retirement accounts? What I tell people, because I have clients often ask me, well, how much should I be putting in my 401, my 403, my TSP, whatever? Here's answer number one for everybody. At least however much the company is going to match. Period. If your company's matching 4%, you don't want to do less than 4% because that's 4% free money. If they're matching 6, don't do less than 6. Whatever they're matching, that is the minimum that you're going to want to do because, again, they're matching it. It's free money.
Right.
So we'll look at all of that stuff. And the earlier that we can get people in here and look at those things, it's better to tell someone that they need to try to contribute more to that 401k. If they're only doing 2% and the company matches 6, I'd rather tell them that at 50 than at 62.
Yeah.
That's 12 more years that's a big difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's 8% difference if it's 4 from you and no, that would actually be more than that, wouldn't it? That would actually be 10% difference. Anyway, it'd be a big difference. That's the point.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. Getting people in and figuring out what's going to make sense for them individually. And we just look at everything. Do you have a health savings account? How's that going to work? What's going to happen with that when you retire? You need to figure it out based on where it is. Is it with the company or is it with your bank or credit union? Or where is that? What's all that money? Because I've had some clients that have a lot in health savings accounts, and those are not retirement plans. Some people come in and they've got a lot of money in an HSA and they're like, oh, well, I've got all this in that health savings account. Okay, great. What are you going to do with it? What do you mean?
Right.
Well, that's not a retirement plan. That's not, you know what I mean? That's not anyway. So figure out what you're going to do with that. What do you have going on with your brokerage account? Do you already have any annuities? If so, you and I've talked about this before. A lot of people bought annuities maybe 10 years ago. I'm telling you, if you did, even if it was from me, I have replaced a ton of my own customers in better products, even if they just bought them 3, 4, 5 years ago, because the rates have gone up so much, like 2 to 3 times what they were just 3, 4, 5 years ago. So we look at all of that and make sure you're in the best product now. What the rates are at now. We are at, in some cases, historic highs now and historic lows as far as tax rates. Right now is a really great time to look at a lot of things. Roth conversions, Roth contributions. And that's a whole other topic that at some point we need to discuss, because I get a lot of questions about Roth contributions versus conversions. Contributions, there are a lot of limits. If you make too much money and then you can only do so much every year in contributions. In conversions, you can do whatever you want from 0 to 100%. So they sound the same to the layman, the ear that doesn't understand the difference, but there's a big difference in contributions and conversions with Roth. We talk about that. We look overall everything and make sure that everything is in place to give you the best chance that we can for a good retirement.
Well, if you'd like to learn more, maybe you're part of that 8 million boomers set to turn 65 in the next 2 years, and you're curious if you can retire comfortably or if you're on track to do so. Well, let Tim Wood and his team at Safe Money Retirement help you check those boxes as you get closer and closer to that point. Keep this number handy, folks. You want to get on his calendar. You also want to pick up a complimentary copy of his book. It's called Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success. All you need to do is be one of our first 5 callers from today's show to schedule that initial conversation. 800-913-SAFE. Again, it's 800-913-7233. Online anytime. The website, once again, folks, is safemoneyretirement.com. It's safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, it's been another great show here this week, my man, and time has certainly flown by, as it seems to do quite often here on the show. And before we do run out of time on this week's program, I'd love to leave the floor once again all yours for the final word.
Oh, thanks, Kevin, and thanks, Melissa, for being here, of course. Thank everybody for listening. Hope everyone is having a good day and staying healthy. Like Kevin said earlier, hope everyone is staying away from all that stuff that's out there. We talked about several things today. We talked about how can you have a snow day in retirement? How can you know that you've got a guaranteed income? Well, that is through a guaranteed lifetime income annuity or a pension. If you're in a company that's got a pension, fantastic, congratulations, but very few do. Now, less than 10% of companies offer pensions these days, so we need to do it ourselves. That's through a guaranteed lifetime income annuity. That's how you do it. So that's important. We also just talked about how can you make sure that you're set up for the best retirement. So that's another whole thing. Let's sit down, let's look at the fact finder, and let's see, what are you doing? What do you have? What kind of accounts do you have? What kind of debts do you have? Let's make a plan. Let's plan out, and whether the plan is going to be executed in 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years. It doesn't matter. Let's make the plan so then we can get you where you want to go. But I want to go back to the very first thing that we talked about, and that is the list of things that you need to have. Again, durable power of attorney. People, if you do not have this, you really need to stop listening right now and get one. It's that important. Also, last will and testament, obviously, that's important. Healthcare surrogate, that's important. But those digital assets. Someone needs to have the code to your phone. Someone needs to have your Facebook password, your LinkedIn, your TikTok, whatever the heck you do. Someone needs to have all of that. Your bank account information, your accounts that you've got, your 401k account, your TSP account. All of your IRAs, someone needs to have all of that information, because the Lord could take you like that. Could take any one of us this moment. And if someone doesn't know what you've got, now they're just going in and trying to go through all of your paperwork and decipher what made sense to you as far as bookkeeping will not make sense to them in a high stress situation. It won't. So make sure you're prepared so you know you can have your own safe money retirement.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Obviously, by contacting us now, you are only taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified, licensed insurance professional. It is important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Interest and other guarantees in annuity contracts are subject to the claims-paying ability of the insurance carrier that issued the contract. The tax consequences of annuity income should be considered with the help of a licensed tax professional. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on state availability and are subject to change without notice.